right, you're watching The Marketplace. Let's turn to some other stories for you. The Korea Importers Association of Ghana has petitioned the presidency on a new draft by the Ghana Standards Authority on imported used vehicles. They say aspects of the draft are not in the interest of importers. In studio with me is George Dumenu, who is Secretary of the Korea Importers Association, to tell us a bit more about this. So just for the benefit of our audience, are you just an association of importers of vehicles?
No, we are importers of vehicles and spare parts as well as household items.
All right. So tell us about this newly drafted standards by the Ghana Standards Authority that has got you guys worried about the impact on your operations.
The new draft is a new standard set by Ghana Standard Authority. That when you look at the draft, chapter 4 and 5, it spelled out the conditions or the type of cars that should be imported into Ghana. Over-age cars are banned from being imported. Salvage cars, cars that have been taken by flood, and those are the categories. And cars that are originally right-hand drive were banned from entry into Ghana. Then when you read chapter 5, it also give condition for importers to, before you import, you have to send the document concerning the cars to Ghana Standard Authority to approve before you be able to import that car. And, looking at our business in the Asia, it's an open market operation. So that condition would not fit our, situation.
But you do understand that these measures are to protect the buyer at the end of the day, right?
Yes. In what way?
Well, this new measure is being introduced, for instance, the import of overused cars. We know that the government is trying to implement that so that we don't have substandard vehicles on the market. And your concern has to do with the processes. I'm saying that these things are being put in place to ensure that at the end of the day, the person buying your vehicle is protected, no?
Yes, I know. You see, as we are saying, importing of used vehicles is not in Ghana alone. Even in Korea, where they, manufacture cars, used cars.
Do you agree with that policy?
No, I don't agree with that policy because
okay.
If that's the case, Korea, where they manufacture a lot of cars, they will not allow importation of used cars in Korea. So importation of used cars, even in US or Europe, where they manufacture cars, used cars are allowed to be imported. So that policy of protecting the new companies that are going to manufacture.
Yeah, because quite a number of them are starting to establish plants here in the country.
It's an assembling.
Encourage local assembling of vehicles here in this country. And so, of course, that's part of the reason for which they are asking that we ban the imports of used vehicles. My next question to you is, this is before Parliament, isn't it, this new draft? And so you're bringing this petition at this time. What essentially do you want to be done?
Yes, when the Custom Amendment Act, was, passed, we made a lot of effort to, stop that passage of that law because there are certain elements in that law that will not help with the businessmen. Similarly, when this reversal of benchmark value, the government want to reverse it. We, sat with the Deputy Minister of Trade to tell her the effect that will be on our trade, but they never listened to us. So we don't want it to be passed into law before we take the measures. As it is a bill, we have, contacted Shippers Authority, GUTA. We, call on them that law, that aspect of the law, which is paragraph 4 and 5, will not be in our interest. So they should remove that pages from that draft.
And what have they said in response to that?
When we call them at the Shippers Authority, Council Authority, when we call them, they even refuse to come.
Okay. And also quickly, you touched on the removal of the benchmark values. You want that policy to be looked at again.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
So when at the time that the benchmark value was not reversed, you go to Korea Yard, a day we can, clear containers like 40, 50. But as we speak now, only 10 containers can be cleared a day. So revenue-wise, it's not, in the interest of the government. The government is losing a lot of revenue because people are no longer interested in bringing the goods. And the goods that we bring, through tax, the government get revenue. So the benchmark value, I know that at the time that they wanted to introduce it because the e-levy was not in place. So as the e-levy has come into place, we plead that the government, reverse that back so that the government will increase revenue and also encourage importers to import.
There was a revision recently was it 30% to about
90%. It was 70%. Now back to 90%.
It's back to 90%.
Yes.
On imported vehicles.
And these imported vehicles, on each car, and a container is carrying about 6 cars in a container. So you could just imagine the tax that an individual pay on importing a container.
Okay, but the major issue now being the draft, and as I indicated, it's before Parliament. So what are you going to do? It's before Parliament. What can you do right now? We are hoping that the presidency sees your petition and acts.
Yes, it's apart from the presidency, we've petitioned, apart from the clerk and the marshal of Parliament, every head of every departmental head, we've petitioned them so that if that draft should come on their table, they should put a stop to it. We don't want it to go beyond it. Else, it will, degenerate into a lot of things.
And if this draft is put in place and it becomes a law, how are you going to be impacted in 30 seconds?
Now, this government is a listening government, so...
You don't want to even think about that?
Yeah, it's prepared to, put a stop to it. So I know the government will listen to us.
Well, let's say I just hope that they listen to you and you have some good news to share. Thank you very much, JoyNews, who is Secretary of the Korea Importers Association of Ghana.